Everyone, we are all anxiously waiting around for the Utah Jazz and the Lakers trade, or any trade for that matter. But the Utah Jazz trade seems to be the one that is most likely to happen and the one that makes the most sense. Utah has to move off of several players because they just have too many going into the season. You can only carry 15. They also want to unload some of these vets because that's where some value is. Now, you could find multiple teams and work out multiple deals, but in a lot of ways, you got to take back contracts. You got to take back salary, which is kind of the opposite of what the Utah Jazz need to do. The Lakers are the only real team in prime position that not only have a large enough sizable contract to take on multiple guys, but also have an expiring sizable contract. Like a team like Miami, they have a couple, sizable contracts, but they're long-term deals. Like a Duncan Robinson, 4 years, he's making like $25 million a year or something like that. So it makes things very difficult to work it out with other teams. But with the Lakers, just straight up, here you go. We'll take these guys. You get these guys. Now, any deal between the Jazz, and at least what is being reported, is that the deal will look like Mike Conley, Bogdanovich, and Beasley for Russell Westbrook, and then they're working out the draft compensation. That's what we got from the Jazz notes, as well as Tony from The Athletic, who covers the Jazz side of things, that Conley, Beasley, and Bogdanovich are the three pieces that could potentially go to the Lakers if there was a trade to work out, which is great. I mean, that would be awesome, right? Conley, versatile guy, could play on the ball, off the ball, kind of is that veteran point guard. Super solid, doesn't make a lot of mistakes. LeBron, if he's out of the game or he just misses the game, Conley is good enough, skilled enough, and smart enough to kind of run the show in the meantime. That's the kind of thing you need. Beasley, 3-and-D guy. Bogdanovich, not so much 3-and-D, but good sized body, got some shooting. Defenses, he at least tries, right? He's not a world-stopping defender, but he at least tries and provides some really solid shooting. Now, the Lakers could always go the Jordan Clarkson route. They have options when it comes to the Utah Jazz. Now, another alternative that has arisen is, the New York Knicks. Cam Reddish is a player that, based on reports, wants out. He wants to change the scenery. The Lakers had Cam Reddish last season in a 3-team deal with the Knicks, the Lakers, and the Raptors, and the Knicks ended up getting greedy, wanted another pick, and it made the deal fall apart. Otherwise, Cam Reddish would have been a Laker already. And there was the 3-team deal with the Jazz, the Knicks, and the Lakers, where Donovan Mitchell would have went to New York, and then the Lakers would have gotten from New York Fournier and Reddish, and then one of Bogdanovich, or Beasley or something like that from the Jazz, and they would have worked out this deal. Because just like Utah, the Knicks, they want to clear salary, but not only do they want to clear salary, they want to free up spots for their young guys. They want their young guys to be able to get some burn in, get some run in, things like that. So that's why the Knicks are interested in a deal for the Lakers. Here's the thing, too, about the Knicks as opposed to the Jazz. The Jazz, it's very likely you're going to have to give up a first-round pick. Many people feel like the Lakers shouldn't, period, because you're helping out the Jazz too, which is true. But the rotation guys are getting stuff like that. I mean, the guys that Utah has, a lot of them, like Bogdanovich, Beasley, stuff like that, they're expiring. So there is value in those guys. When it comes to like the Knicks, Randall and things like that, those are all long-term contracts. So it's a different scenario, different situation. But the Knicks, they want to move off those guys and clear off that salary space. So, okay, what if the Lakers were able to work out a 3-team deal again, like originally discussed? Because the Lakers could use some wing depth, right? That's probably their biggest need. And they need just depth in general. And the Knicks and the Jazz are both in this sort of similar situation to where the Lakers could come in and kind of capitalize on it. The Knicks very likely weren't going to get a first-round pick from the Lakers in any deal, even a straight-up deal, because again, completely different situation compared to the Jazz. The Jazz have guys that are at least valuable contract-wise that they'll be easily able to move off of. There's teams out there that would take that on. There's teams with trade exceptions, stuff like that, that would, that could actually fit Bogdanovich's salary, stuff like that. So that would be huge for some of those teams. And, the Jazz are in a good spot. It just makes it a lot more difficult than just working with the Lakers, where like guys like Evan Fournier, little overpaid. He's a solid contributor, solid player. I actually want Evan Fournier over Buddy Hield. I know some people feel otherwise. I just think you get more with Fournier, where Buddy Hield, just you basically only get in the shooting aspect, which is great. But if you look up Fournier's numbers, they're comparable, and Fournier only averaged 1 point less than Buddy Hield. So nonetheless, I digress. When it comes to a potential trade, so let's go on the assumption that the Jazz deal is what it was reported. Beasley, Conley, and Bogdanovich, right? So you got those three guys. Now, what if the Lakers rerouted Bogdanovich and ended up receiving Cam Reddish and Evan Fournier, the two guys that were going to be just kind of given to the Lakers in a Donovan Mitchell trade? What if that was the deal that they could work out? Now, because of the 125% rule, the money would line up, the money would match. Lakers would be taking on a lot of salary. That's something I need to clear up here, is because, with the Conley deals and stuff like that, you're basically taking on four guys. Although the Lakers very likely would have to include Wenyen Gabriel in this deal, just because if you get, say, Beasley, Conley, Fournier, and Reddish, when all is said and done, you would have too many players on your team. They only have 2 open roster spots, and you're basically moving out 3 guys, or 2 guys technically, because Westbrook and Gabriel for 4 guys. So I mean, you may, if you need to, need to move Wenyen Gabriel, because you got to remember too, Lakers do like to keep that one spot open, stuff like that. So not saying that it can't work out financially. Bogdanovich for Cam Reddish and Evan Fournier actually works. So you could just do this deal. So essentially in a 3-team deal, Lakers would trade Russell Westbrook and say a first to the Utah Jazz, right? They would get back Bogdanovich, Beasley, and Conley, and then reroute Bogdanovich to the Knicks for Evan Fournier and Cam Reddish. Now, you might be thinking, because I'm sure people are going to say that and say, 1, why would the Knicks want Bogdanovich? And 2, why would they want Bogdanovich over somebody like Beasley or something like that? Well, glad you asked. First off, when it comes to the Beasley thing, the money doesn't line up. Beasley makes like $4 million less than Bogdanovich. Secondly, the goal here isn't to get guys that can, come in and play and just, whatever. The goal is to clear up roster spots and clear up salary, which this deal does. Bogdanovich is an expiring contract, and on top of being an expiring contract, if you don't have to start, he's not like so good, so important to this team. You're taking on Bogdan. You could even buy Bogdanovich out, which was the whole point that they wanted with Russell Westbrook. So you could take on Bogdanovich and then just buy him out. The whole reason the Knicks want to do the Westbrook deal is to just clear salary and clear space for their young guys. You do the same thing in the Bogdanovich deal. The only difference is you're not doing like Fournier, Rose, and Reddish for Westbrook, something like that. You're basically still keeping Rose, but you're getting rid of 2 of the 3 guys. So from a Lakers standpoint, I mean, you're getting Mike Conley, you're getting Beasley, you're getting Fournier, you're getting Reddish. So you just fixed all of your holes, all of your depth, everything. This might be the best trade the Lakers could pull off, which was a trade that was very similar to what was already discussed. So it's not like this is like some bizarre no way this would happen type thing. This deal was the type of deal that was laid out when they were talking the Donovan Mitchell trade. And, you saw all the reports and heard all the rumors and stuff like that of like, Donovan Mitchell getting traded and the Lakers could be that 3rd team that gets rerouted. That's what would have happened. They probably would have, when all was said and done, they were going to get something along the lines of Fournier, Reddish, Beasley, and either Conley or Clarkson. That was the thought process. The Lakers would have been getting, the scraps, quote unquote, but they were solid role guys because both teams want to do the same thing. They want to unload salary and clear off roster spots. That is what the Lakers could be, that intermediate team. And so to get a guy like Cam Reddish, who I love and want to see get a real opportunity, he's got the size at 6'8", He's got the wingspan. He could be a really solid contributor. Evan Fournier, again, talked time and time again about how I would take Evan Fournier 10 times out of 10 times over Buddy Hield, just because you get so much more with Evan Fournier. It's a huge defensive upgrade compared to Buddy Hield. Everything. So you're getting the size. You're getting the wing depth. Evan Fournier at 6'6" size. So, you're not losing that, now we're getting another like 6'3" guard or something like that. No, you're getting Conley, but outside of that, you're still getting Beasley, 6'4", 6'5". You're getting, Reddish, who's 6'8", play the 3, play the 4. You're getting a lot of interchangeable guys. You're getting some ridiculous depth. Like, ridiculous depth. Like, let's say LeBron James and Anthony Davis just don't play a game or something like that. Like, you still have a good enough starting five. And, like, Mike Conley, Patrick Beverley, Evan Fournier, Cam Reddish, and Thomas Bryant. That's a pretty... And you still have 10 players on the bench that could all be, like, real contributors and rotation guys. Like, it's a great position for the Lakers to be in. If they could make this work, if they could pull this off. Again, I don't know if this is going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. But the Knicks really want Russell Westbrook, and so do the Jazz really want Russell Westbrook. So why not work out a deal where everybody can win? But here's the thing. They don't want Russell Westbrook for Russell Westbrook. They want Russell Westbrook so that way they could clear off salary. So if you work out a deal to where, something like that happens and everybody, like the Knicks and the Jazz, can both clear off cap space, and the Lakers, they get their pieces, they get their rotation guys. That's a win-win for everybody. Knicks get what they want, Jazz get what they want, Lakers get what they want. And again, I'm sure there's somebody that's going to watch this video and go, well, why don't the Knicks and the Jazz just do it together? Because, again, the Jazz have too many players and can't do even swaps. They can't do a 2-for-2 swap. They have to do like a 4-for-2 swap, stuff like that. They have to clear about 3-4 guys off their roster. And you could either do it in one swoop with Lakers, with Westbrook, or you can try to find 4 different individual trades. But who has that? There's a couple teams that have like a trade exception that could take some of the guys, but you'd still be left with like 2 or 3 guys that you need to unload. And like Conley's on like a huge salary, stuff like that. Like, it's tough. But overall, I do. Look at this. If the Lakers could pull this off, that would be incredible. Again, not saying it will happen, but this is something similar that was already discussed between the Jazz, the Lakers, and the Knicks. So this isn't like something that's completely unfathomable. This isn't something that's completely out of the realm of possibility. No, it's something that was already talked about. And the Knicks thought they were getting the deal done. We got the reports that, Knicks thought they were in the lead, that they were the front runners, that they were working it out. And, so this return for the Lakers could have been the return that the Lakers got, 2 weeks ago or whatever it was, 3 weeks ago, if the Cavs didn't come in and swoop up on Donovan Mitchell. So the fact that the Lakers had an opportunity to get this kind of depth before, the situation's still the same. The Knicks still need to unload off of some salary guys. They're doing that in Evan Fournier, Cam Reddish, and they still need to clear up roster spots for some of the young guys. Tom Thibodeau, he doesn't want Reddish. He's made that very clear. He doesn't play him nothing. Wants to sell him for a bag of chips. So, good. Okay, he's gone. Now you clear up room. And then same thing with Evan Fournier. He likes Evan Fournier more, but he wants to get Grimes and McBride and stuff like that. And quickly, he wants to get these guys more opportunity, more runs. They want to see what they could do with the young guys. Well, here you go. You just cleared up 2 roster spots for your young guys, 2 rotation guys. There you go. Now you cleared up minutes. You also cleared up cap space for the next 2 years. You're getting a solid favor. The Jazz, you're unloading 3 players for 1. You get to buy out Russ. Boom. Now you're good. You cleared all your roster spots. All is right in the world. You cleared some salary. All is right in the world. And now if you're looking at, the Knicks, same thing. You cleared some salary. You got some roster spots. Like, you're in a good position. Everybody wins. This is a win-win for all. So I would love for this to happen. Again, not saying it will. Not saying that, not saying anything. This is just something that I wanted to put together and kind of break down because I think it is a possibility. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. What do you think? Do you think, yes, get this done? This might be the best deal because realistically, they could get this deal done with only giving up one first because it's only whatever you can negotiate with the Jazz, which the Lakers don't want to give up 2 firsts for the Jazz anyway, and I don't think they're going to give up both firsts for the Jazz deal anyway. So if they can end up getting the Jazz deal done for 1 first, this could be their return for 1 first-round pick. This to me is worth I think you can make the argument this to me is worth both first-round picks because you're getting Cam Reddish and Evan Fournier, and you're getting Beasley, which all 3 you could keep around. All 3 are relatively young. I mean, even Fournier is only like 30. So he's not that old to where it's like, you can't, no, like you get basically getting 3 guys that could be solid rotation guys for the next 5 years if you want. To me, that's worth it. But I think realistically, they could get this deal done for 1 first, which would be amazing if that could happen. But again, don't want to get too ahead of myself. This is just a thought and just a discussion that I wanted to have with you all. So let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Do you love this? Do you hate it? Do you think, yes, figure out a way, get it done? Do you think, nah, never going to happen? However you feel about it, love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.